Most people think a golf course is just grass and holes. It isn't. It is one of the most complicated, expensive, and quietly lucrative pieces of real estate in the United States, and depending on who owns it, the exact same 150 acres of fairway can be a money-losing vanity project, a cash machine, a tax shelter, or the centerpiece of a billion-dollar development deal. There are 4 types of golf course owners in America. One of them mows the grass himself on weekends. One of them has never played a single round of golf in his life. One of them bought the course because it came with 300 acres of land he actually wanted, and one of them owns 600 courses simultaneously and treats each one like a line on a spreadsheet. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how each type makes money, which type loses the most, and which one quietly controls more American land than most people would believe. This is every type of golf course owner, and none of them are who you're picturing. Type 1, the municipal manager. Every mid-sized American city has one. It's the public golf course, the one your dad took you to on a Sunday morning when you were 9. The one where the cart paths are slightly cracked, and the clubhouse serves a burger that costs $8 and tastes exactly like it costs $8. The municipal manager doesn't own this course in the traditional sense. They operate it on behalf of a city or county government that owns the land. The management contract is typically won through a public bidding process, and the operator receives a fee to run daily operations, staffing, maintenance, food and beverage, while the municipality keeps the underlying real estate. On paper, this sounds stable. In practice, it is one of the most financially stressed positions in American golf. A public golf course in a mid-tier US city typically generates $1.2 to $2.8 million in annual revenue from green fees, cart rentals, and the clubhouse. But maintaining 150 acres of irrigated turf in a country where labor costs have risen 30% in the last 5 years eats most of that revenue before the operator sees a dollar of profit. Here is the number that defines this tier. The average American public golf course spends $500,000 to $800,000 per year on water alone. In drought-affected states like California, Arizona, and Texas. That number climbs higher. And unlike almost every other business cost, it cannot be negotiated down or cut without visibly destroying the product. The municipal manager survives on volume and efficiency. Early morning tee times sold at discount rates to retired locals. Corporate outings booked months in advance. Junior golf programs subsidized by the city because they justify the public interest argument that keeps the land zoned for recreation instead of development. It works, barely. And the operator who figures out how to run the food and beverage operation at real margin, not just hot dogs and warm beer, is the one who actually makes money at this tier. The ceiling is structural. You do not own the land. You cannot sell it. You cannot redevelop it. You are a caretaker of someone else's asset, and your contract can end at the next city council vote. Type 2, the private club elite. Now the math changes completely. The private club owner is not competing for your green fee. They are competing for your membership. And the difference between those two business models is the difference between a bus ticket and a country club initiation fee of $150,000. Private golf clubs in the United States operate on a membership model where the initiation fee is non-refundable. The annual dues are mandatory regardless of how often you play, and the waitlist for membership at a desirable club is measured in years, not weeks. Augusta, national home of the Masters, has never publicly disclosed its membership fees. Estimates put initiation in the range of $40,000, with annual dues around $30,000. But Augusta does not need your money. Membership there is political and social currency that cannot be purchased directly regardless of net worth. That is the extreme. But the broader private club model reveals something important about this ownership tier. The golf course is almost secondary to the social infrastructure around it. A well-positioned private club in a wealthy suburban market. Think Westchester County in New York, the North Shore of Chicago, or the suburbs of Atlanta, generates revenue from initiation fees, annual dues, dining minimums, and event hosting. A club with 400 members paying $20,000 in annual dues generates $8 million in recurring annual revenue before a single round of golf is played. The course itself is the justification for membership, not the product being sold. The product being sold is exclusivity, social access, and a physical space where a certain type of person can exist among other certain types of people without the general public present. The risk at this tier is demographic. Private club membership in the United States has been declining since the 1990s as younger generations show less interest in traditional golf club culture. The clubs that survive are the ones that evolved, adding fitness facilities, family programming, racket sports, and dining experiences that compete with the best restaurants in their market. The ones that didn't evolve are closing, converting to semi-private operations, or selling to the type of owner we will talk about in 60 seconds. Type 3. The real estate developer. Here is the ownership type that has nothing to do with golf. The real estate developer bought the golf course because of what surrounds it. In American residential real estate, homes that back up to a golf course command a premium of 15 to 30% over comparable properties without the golf view. A developer who controls 200 acres of land with a golf course running through the center of it does not need the course to be profitable. The course is infrastructure, a green amenity that increases the value of every residential lot surrounding it by tens of thousands of dollars each. The math works like this. A developer acquires 200 acres in a growing suburban market. 40 of those acres become the golf course, irrigated, maintained, professionally operated at a modest loss or break even. The remaining 160 acres are subdivided into 300 residential lots, each of which commands a $40,000 premium because of the golf course view and access. That is $12 million in additional lot value generated by an amenity that cost $4 million to build and $800,000 a year to maintain. This is why American suburbs built between 1970 and 2005 are ringed with golf courses that were never meant to generate profit on their own. They were loss leaders for residential development, the same way a casino floor is a loss leader for a hotel and restaurant empire. Once the lot sold and the developer exited, many of these courses were left to homeowner associations or management companies that never had the budget to maintain them properly, which is why a significant percentage of American golf courses built in the 1980s and 90s are now closed, converted, or struggling. The developer who understood this model best built something and left. The ones who stayed too long discovered that a golf course without a development angle is just a very expensive lawn. Type 4. The corporate chain operator. And now we reach the tier that owns everything the other three types created and eventually couldn't sustain. Arcis Golf, Troon Golf, and Club Corp, three companies most Americans have never heard of, collectively manage or own hundreds of golf facilities across the United States. This is not a passion business. It is a portfolio business, operated by executives who apply the same financial discipline to a golf course in Phoenix that a hotel REIT applies to a Marriott in Dallas. The corporate chain operator's advantage is purchasing power and systems. When Troon Golf manages 150 courses simultaneously, they negotiate national contracts for turf equipment, fertilizer, irrigation systems, and food and beverage supply that no individual course owner could approach. The cost savings on those inputs alone can turn a marginally unprofitable independent course into a profitable one, without changing a single thing the golfer experiences. The business model at this tier runs on management fees and revenue share. A corporate operator typically charges the underlying property owner, often a municipality, a real estate company, or a private investor, a management fee of 2 to 5% of gross revenue, plus a percentage of profits above a defined threshold. The operator provides the systems, the staff training, the purchasing power, and the brand. The property owner provides the land and capital. It is the franchise model applied to fairways. Club Corp, before being taken private, operated over 200 private clubs and public courses across 26 states, with total revenue exceeding $1.5 billion annually. The person at the top of that organization has a relationship with golf that is entirely expressed in financial ratios, rounds per available tee time, food and beverage revenue per member visit, maintenance cost per hole per season. It is not romantic, but it is the structure that keeps American golf operational at a scale that individual passion could never sustain. Here's the thing, nobody tells you when they talk about the golf industry in America. The courses are not struggling because people stopped loving golf. Rounds played in the United States actually hit a 25-year high in 2021 and have stayed elevated since. The courses that are closing, converting, and selling are the ones built by owners who were never really in the golf business to begin with. The developer who needed a green amenity to sell lots. The municipality that inherited a maintenance budget nobody planned properly. The private club that confused exclusivity with sustainability. The owners who are still standing and still profitable are the ones who understood from day one that 150 acres of irrigated turf is not a passion project. It is an asset, and like every asset, it rewards the person who is most honest about what it actually is, what it actually costs, and who it actually serves. One course, 4 completely different answers to those 3 questions. Which type of owner would you want to be? The one closest to the grass or the one furthest from it? Drop your answer in the comments. And subscribe to Cold Doc Explain, because next time we are breaking down another empire, one owner at a time.